Igbo mana ege ntị anyị ekene unu ọzọ n'ụbọchị uhuruchi nke taa. Anyị sị ka ụbọchị nke taa maala n'unu na mma. Anyị si ka nke onye chiri ya zelu dịka o si dị. Ihe a bụ Eastern News 24 ka anyị si wee na-ewetara unu ya bụ ozi, nnukwu ozi dị oke mkpa gbasịta maka ya bụ ife na-ada na-akpọtụ n'obodo anyị nọ n'ime ya ma ndị nwere onwe ndị Igbo na-azọ n'iru akwụkwọ. N'ọbụna nke ụbọchị izu gị ị na-esonyere anyị kaba alụ ketụsa ya bụ ozi. Tupu anyị wetara unu ya bụ update anyị ji maka ya wee bịa n'iru akwụkwọ n'ụbọchị nke taa, gee ntị ọfụma rụchasịa ntị gị ike. O nwere ihe nwanne anyị nwoke bụ sinetọ Abalịbe kwuru n'iru akwụkwọ oge gara aga wee kwuru sị that Tinubu tax reformed without Maazị Nnamdi Kanu's release is not going to benefit any Igbo man. And unu ma ife a na-ekwu okwu ya, this tax reform a na-ekwu okwu ya. Then mma achọkwa unu gee ife onye ugwu kwuru, maka na agwa m na ebe o ya ebido na ọma mbido n'ala Igbo. Ebe o ya ebido bụ n'ala ugwu, n'ugwu ka o ya ebido. Na anyị ga na-azụ afịa afa na-anụ ọgụ anụnụfu na ọ na-eme. Gee ya bụ ife ahụ kwuru n'iru akwụkwọ ịdrọpụrụ ife iche n'ụdị nke gị. All right, over to you.
Northern leaders have expressed displeasure over President Bola Tinubu's declaration that there will be no reversal on the controversial tax reform bills. The leaders, comprising members of the National Assembly, the League of Northern Democrats, and the Northern Elders Forum, criticized the president's firm position, describing it as unilateral and devoid of inclusive consultations. Meanwhile, there are reports that in response to that pushback, President Tinubu has begun to send emissaries to critical stakeholders in the north to lobby for the passage of the tax reform bills he sent to the National Assembly. Tinubu is said to be using back channels and other means to win over opposition to the bills. Governors of the 19 states in the north are insisting that nothing will change their minds on the bills and have demanded that the bills be withdrawn from the National Assembly for further consultation. Now, joining me to discuss this and other issues is a critical stakeholder in the politics of Northern Nigeria, Alhaji Buba Galadima, who joins me now from our Abuja studio to share his thoughts. Good to have you on the program, Alhaji Buba Galadima, and Happy New Year to you.
Thank you, Dr. Ruben Abati, for having me on this program and on this very important topic.
Well, Alhaji, chairman of the Tax Reform and Fiscal Policy Reform Committee, Taiwo Yedele, was very emphatic. He said this bill is about fairness, justice, and the principles are to expand Nigeria's tax base, to get more revenue for government, and to improve compliance. This will look to any right-thinking person or society as basic objectives: to improve compliance, to expand revenue base, to, also generate revenue for government. But Northern governors are saying this is not possible. Northern leaders are saying, no, withdraw the bill. Everybody is opposing it. What is the problem? I mean, Alhaji, you should be able to relate to the principles.
Well, thank you, Dr. Ruben Abati. I first want to address an issue that I don't want to comment on things based on North and South, regional, or even religious. And I don't think that this bill is all about Northern Nigeria. I know you are from Ogun, a deputy gubernatorial candidate of one of the parties before. And I would say that this bill is only fair to Ogun and Lagos, not Southwest as a whole, as I see it. So the issue is also not about governors of Northern Nigeria or League of Democrats or Northern elders. If there is any elder in the North, I assume that having reached nearly 75 years of age, I ought to be one of the elders. But the truth of the matter is that the press and the academia are not doing very well in promoting national unity and cohesion. That every one of us is just talking about religion, tribe, where one comes from. It is very, very wrong. You don't build a nation like that. It should be that the problem of a Kanuri man in Maiduguri should be the problem of an Awori man in Lagos. That is how you build a nation, not segregating it into tribal or religious segments. So having said that, I want to tell the world that many people who comment on this bill did not even read it. And if they read it, they have not really studied the nuances of this bill. And I want to also say that most governors in Nigeria, not only in the north, are so pissed off because when this bill was being created by Tai Oyedele and his group, that they have never consulted any governor outside Lagos. So for them it is an ego problem that it is only the views of the governor of Lagos that is in this bill. Whether they will accept this my view or not, I want to tell the world that this is the situation.
Alaji, no.
And I can't.
No, Alaji, Alaji. The National Economic Committee, the NEC, comprising all the governors of the states, that bill was presented before them. It was also taken to FEC. So there was representation. No, it's not fair to say it's only
was it taken to the NEC and discussed with the other governors when this bill was being developed?
No. It was taken to NEC. It was taken to.
I say no.
Okay, but it was taken.
Which one is NEC?
National Economic Council.
NEC, what did NEC say when they took it to them? What did they say?
No, there was consultation.
They said withdraw it.
No,
I said,
I'm not aware of that.
Please, doctor, it's okay. That is your view. And I'm talking to you about the view of other people, including myself. That it has become an ego problem. And even if any governor as an individual tells Mr. President that he's supporting him, let him tell that governor that he's lying. All of them are speaking with one voice. I'm just trying to tell the world what is really on the ground. So this is the problem. Now you are talking of expanding the revenue base, but you are not looking at the critical stage this country is in. If you increase any revenue, if you increase it, it will affect the economic status of the people of this country. We are already crying of hunger, we are crying of poverty, we are crying of deprivation. Once there is any increase by 0.1 into the earnings of the people, it will affect them adversely. Even if it is good, this is not the time to bring more hardship on the people.
Okay.
And we should be humane.
Okay.
What we are, just hold on. We should be humane in what we are doing. And this revenue bill as submitted to the National Assembly cannot stand the test of time, because the revenue bill has gone contrary to some provisions of the Constitution. It is within the province of the federal government or any state government or local government to create an idea of expanding its revenue base. But the sharing of the revenue is not the responsibility of the federal government nor that of the National Assembly.
Okay.
It is of the National Assembly to the extent that when they look at the sharing, they will have to change the Constitution by going round so that they remove the authority of the revenue mobilization from that province. That has not been done. And to say, let's do more consultation so that people comment on this matter, I don't think it is a negation or a disrespect or even whatever against the president. It is not. This is our country. If the president presents anything and we the people of Nigeria say no, I'm coming. We the people of Nigeria say no, we should be, our views should be respected, because the president and the governors and members of the National Assembly are there because we put them there. So they should respect our views.
Okay, Alaji, the last time I checked, nobody has said Nigerians should not express their views. That's why the National Assembly is saying there will be a public hearing. Okay? And that public hearing, I imagine, I expect that it will take place. But two things. You have the public hearing, you have the president reported in the newspapers recently that he has sent emissaries to leaders of the North. Now, those emissaries, have they come across or northern elders and leaders and governors are just saying they don't even want to listen to anybody? They say the media is using the word adamant, that they want that bill withdrawn first. So you are calling for dialogue, you are calling for consultation. The presidency has extended this olive branch and say, let's talk, let's look at the details. What are those nuances that you say you object to? What are those nuances, if you may be specific?
People are already making their views known. I have my view. One of my views is that the president or the federal government has no business in sharing the expanded revenue net which is collected. It is the responsibility of Revenue Mobilization and Fiscal Commission. It is not that of the president. They are the only people that have the right to share between federal government, state governments, and local government revenues of the nation. Even if that bill is passed, I want to assure you, Dr. Ruben Abati, that people can go to court and throw it and nullify it, because it is not their responsibility. Let's take what is the old formula of sharing. Have you seen the old formula of sharing and what is now presented to the National Assembly? They are a complete negation. That is why people are suspicious. And for us to remove that suspicion, let's put all hands together, look at this bill dispassionately as a Nigerian bill, not a sectional bill or a personal bill of anybody. And we come up with what is acceptable to the nation, because it is our own revenue. It is not a personal revenue of anybody. Okay. So the Nigerians should understand this.
Okay, Alaji. Now, you are talking about distribution. I think that's, is this section 72? Yes. Section 72 of the proposed VAT bill.
Yes.
Which says 60% of derivation. And some of the northern governors, whether from Borno or Gombe or Nasarawa or Bauchi, they have said this is unacceptable.
Why, Doctor, just hold on. Please, I object to you using the word northern governors.
Okay.
You can say Nigerian governors or some governors.
Okay,
please,
governors.
The word north should never be in your dictionary.
Okay, the governors from Gombe.
Because there is no north.
Okay, from Gombe to Borno, to Nasarawa, to Bauchi. They are saying that, you know, attaching the distribution formula to derivation, 60%, the law says in section 72, will only favor the south. You have mentioned Lagos and Ogun. So the simple explanation is that this has to do with where headquarters of productive companies are based. Now, shouldn't the issue be that northern leaders should worry more about the lack of productivity in the north? If there is productivity in the north, that section 72 will not be an issue.
There is no productivity, for example, in Lagos, on how people make phone calls in Damaturu or Gombe. Why should Lagos now take the credit? But I don't want you to use the word northern leaders, northern governors. They are the governors of Gombe, Nasarawa, and Bauchi or whatever. They are not northern governors. They may belong to the old north. And this word you are using, north, is the problem that is always bringing division into the country. An academician and a refined journalist like you should avoid the use of religion, the use of tribe, and the use of geography for us to have one Nigeria.
Okay, I get your point, but I'm still talking about, I said section 72, it's actually section 77, about derivation. You produce, you earn. So if you are not producing, you cannot complain.
So the telephone I'm making in Damaturu is a production for Lagos because the headquarters of MTN is in Lagos. Is that what you are telling me?
No, I'm asking you to explain what that objection is, because I've been.
I'm just. No. It is the consumption.
Yeah, it's a consumption. VAT is a consumption tax. Yes.
Listen. VAT is consumption tax, and if you increase VAT by 0.1%, prices in the country will skyrocket. It will affect everybody. And the situation in Nigeria now is that you don't add any hardship on the people. That is what we are saying. Let's stabilize the system first.
No, but those who propose the bills, they are saying that this is about fairness and equity. People who don't earn up to a certain
They don't know Nigeria. They don't know Nigeria because they stay in palatial hotels in Lagos.
No. That committee. Yes. That committee worked for months.
They don't know Nigeria. Where did Tayo Oledele, where does he know? Does he know my village? He doesn't know anything.
No, but he has a lot of experience in taxation across Africa.
He doesn't have anything. The way he presented this bill, it means that he does not know Nigeria. And he has no history.
Okay.
And let me tell you something again, that members of his panel from this part of the country are already disowning the final bill that he sent to Mr. President, because they were put in the committees and each committee submitted its report. But in compiling the general report, some ideas about some of the committees were completely set aside, and he chose what he needs and took it to Mr. President and convinced him. You hear from me, please. Others may not be bold enough to tell you. That is the problem. They are already disowning it.
But they've not come out publicly as members of the committee to say they are disowning.
Well, but they tell us.
Okay, that means they are hypocritical. You should tell them that they are hypocrites. If they are members of a committee and they are going behind to disown and sabotage the work of the committee,
why is he not generous enough when he collects all the committee reports, call all of them, they sit down and look at these committees and adopt a final report to Mr. President, which he has not done. He is dishonest.
Well, it's an executive bill. It's the government that forwarded the 4 bills under the...
No.
The government forwarded. It's not a private member bill.
Listen. You see, it's not an argument between Buba, Galadima and Dr. Bati. Please. All I'm telling you is that thank me for being bold to tell you what is underground. The nation should thank me.
Oh, are you saying President Tinubu is running an underground system style of government?
Well, I don't know. You are saying that. I didn't say so. But at least the committee report, I know that has not been debated by members of that committee. It is Oladele and the governor of Lagos, Sanyaolu, that took the final decision and skewed the bill towards favor of Lagos and Ogun, where you come from.
I don't know about Ogun State involvement in this matter. But anyway, let's move away from the... No,
because we are, I'm not mentioning Southwest. I don't do that. I'm talking to you about those who will benefit. And Ogun is one of those that will benefit. Because the the agricultural products from this part of the country is taken to Ogun, processed and resent for us to consume. But the VAT is going to Ogun, not to Yobe, where the products have been produced. So you have to listen to people. You may not like their ideas, but listen to them first and allay their fears. In this bill, a lot of people are talking underground that, look, anybody that has anything to do with anything finance in Nigeria, collection, distribution, all belong to one tribe. These are what people are saying. So it is, they feel now that they are being shortchanged. So there ought to be some transparency. You talk to people. There is nothing wrong. Everybody, every president, every government talks to people and allay their fears, explain the real issues behind what they are doing. If there is any objection, it is done behind the curtain. When it comes out, then it is for people like us who are not in government to consume, to consume the product of what government has developed, and there would be a consensus.
Okay.
Nobody can say, I have done this, no going back. No! We Nigerians were the people to say that one, not an individual.
Okay, Alaji, as we begin to wrap up now,
yes, sir.
One other issue of interest, this conflict between Nigeria and Niger Republic. Nigeria is saying, look, all the allegations from Niger are baseless. The people in the border towns, 1,600 kilometers that we share with Niger, 994 miles, are saying, look, they are nervous, they are anxious, and that the Nigerian government should be careful with Niger. But the NSA, YORUBA, on BBC HAUSA service, says, look, President Chiani or General Chiani, he doesn't know what he's talking about because Nigeria has no security arrangement with France. We only have commercial, economic cooperation with France.
Dr. Robert Abati, please, let me tell you something. Not many people understood the opposition to Nigeria's position on Niger. That is number one. Number two, if you listen to Tiani, General Abdurrahman Tiani, over what he said in Hausa, he didn't say that France has a military base in Nigeria. Nuhu Ribadu, when he is denying what Tiane said, he said Nigeria does not have a military base. But Tiane is saying that France has a military presence. The difference is that somebody is saying military presence, somebody is saying military base. They can both be right. There is no French military base in Nigeria. But what Tiame is saying that there is a military presence in Nigeria and investigate. And he mentioned certain locations. In fact, some buildings. In fact, records of certain hotels. People should go and look at. He was not definitive. Go and investigate did not mean that he has said, but why didn't the federal government make that investigation? You see, people use words, in English words or Hausa words. No, please, we should look at these issues dispassionately. And what is the problem that some people in this part of the country are apprehensive about the French presence in Nigeria? Because they remember history, that in 1967, General Charles de Gaulle was the only European leader that voted to dismember Nigeria. And he did that by trying to influence Niger, Chad, Benin, and Cameroon. But President Ahmadou Ahidjo and Hamani Diori of Niger and Tumbelbai of Chad resisted him. And the French used their power to overthrow the government of Hamani Diori. And they deceived Ahmadou Ahidjo, the president of Cameroon, to tell him that, look, you are sick. If you don't abdicate, because they wanted to remove him by military force, they couldn't. So they deceived him in relinquishing power. and Francois Tumbalbai was overthrown. These are histories that people should know, but they were able to influence Gabon, Ivory Coast, Zambia, and Tanzania to support dismemberment of Nigeria. How can France now, in this day, become the friend of Nigeria? Definitely people who have knowledge and history think otherwise. And they also remember, and there are quite a number of us who even wanted to join the military that knew what Niger has done to Nigeria. We will ever remain grateful because they kept Nigeria one entity. So, and you can also remember that during the government of General Sani Abacha, he tilted towards France by even taking the accounts of Nigeria from London to Paris. And you know what had happened to him later. So we are saying that people should look at history. So you don't want Nigerians to know what is happening?
No. Please, if you may just wrap up very quickly.
So this is why people believe that France, they don't see France as a friend of Nigeria. Of course, things change. So to get close to France, they believe that somebody has an agenda. Maybe because France has always thought of dismembering Nigeria, maybe this is what is at stake. So the intelligence and the security forces in Nigeria should try to do some intelligence work to find out why some people are behaving in the manner they are doing. It is important. That is why you need experienced people in government to advise government on what to do always, not personal interest.
Okay, you think the people that are there now don't have enough experience to run Nigeria?
Well, if they have, they can't fight Niger. After all, government, whether military or democracy, it is the people that make that government. If Nigerian people don't want military regime, they know how to deal with it. Okay. Not us. We will not dictate to them. And Gawan has said that times without number, that we should not interfere in the affairs of another country, that ECOWAS protocol does not provide for that. And Gawan was the founding father of ECOWAS. We should listen to that old man. He's a man of peace.
Okay, on that note, Alhaji Buba Galadima, I would like to thank you very much for joining us on This is Live, this Sunday talk show. Thank you very much indeed.
Ndị be anyị akụrụ nụrụ ife dịka isi kwuo n'oge gara aga na ndị ugwu mbọsị ọ ya ebido n'ugwu na ndị ofe mmanụ ka ife nwere ikwu gbasịta maka ya bụ ife nọ n'elu akwụkwọ gbasịta maka ya Tinubu tax reform na-aga n'elu ka ife nwere ikwu dọrọpụrụ anyị ya na Eastern News 24 ebe anyị si na-ewetara ya bụ ozi ka emesịa na ụmụnne m